Since the great time before time and time itself, there has always been death. Death. Death has rotted our bones, taken our young, taken our old, taken our middle-aged, taken your mum, taken your son, taken your mums. And now... But death is not the only thing we must think of. There's another type of death, a form we don't often think about. Retirement! And this year, this day, this tragic few months, this is the last of the last for the person known as Matthewist of Patrickist. okay, it may sound like taking this as a complete joke, but it is sad that MatPat is leaving. But I had this idea for a year, and I thought now would be the good time, because if I didn't say it, I'd eventually forgotten it would be 10 years, so whatever. So, I was thinking about, well, death is always there, there's always something else that's always there. Like the great like in the great play Hamilton. There is always legacy and what comes after your retirement. And for Matthew Patrick, like, he is one of the few internet personalities that I think will be left, that when he retires, people will think, what a positive guy. Because even, like, some of the people, like, I grew up, like, with MatPat, like, I've been watching him since I was 8. And a lot of the creators there, apart from maybe Smart, most of them are, no one really cares about, or just kind of is either a blonde or a slight D-bag. MatPat's the only one I think who crossed the line and is still cool and is still liked somewhat. Sure, there's all those people, but really MatPat is still, like, the only creator I think who I used to watch who is still somewhat liked. But that got me thinking, like, in 10 years, in 20 years, in 100 years, like, we'll look at, like, people, like, from our age in, like, mythical form, like, the way we look at, like, people like Plato and Socrates. And I was thinking, you know, the only person I can think of right now who would be a modern philosopher that I could think of right now the second is MatPat. There are other people who will be, definitely, but I think MatPat is definitely the voice of not just our generation, but the future, in the future, when people think of, like, philosophy, they'll think of Matthew Patrickson. And now I'm going to explain why, and I think I'm going to be able to explain why I think MatPat's a philosopher. First off, let's go with what Google says a philosopher is. The first explanation basically describes MatPat completely. A person who offers views, theories, profound questions in ethics, metaphysics, logic, and other relevant fields. Look at the first word, theories, basically MatPat. But for the other stuff as well, MatPat offers questions, ideas, and all this other stuff. Like, I remember, like, the first time, like, MatPat is, like, has a very young, not to make fun of him or anything, MatPat has a very young demographic-ish, I'd say, like, maybe 13 to 18-year-olds. And I'd say, like, at that age, like, people like that are kind of, like, they're still learning the basics. I just left that age, I'm 19. And, like, I used to watch MatPat a lot more, I'm kind of getting out of it, but, like, still. Well, actually, one cool fact that I wanted to bring up, like, actually, like, while I don't watch MatPat religiously anymore, like, I still watch him every so often, and what's cool is my sister also watches MatPat, and we have a 10-year age gap, and it's really, really cool that, like, there was just something, like, one thing that we both watch together. Like, not together, we don't watch the same videos of his, like, she watches more of the stuff like Blue, his videos in Blue, while I watch the FNAF stuff. But still, it is really cool to know that. And it's kind of unfortunate in a way that, like, film theory is going in that way, but whatever. But still, what I meant with this question is, like, MatPat's, like, age demographic, like, they're all kind of youngish, and, like, MatPat, like, offers, like, big questions, like, serious questions, seriously thoughtful questions. Like, MatPat was the first time I really found out the butterfly effect. MatPat was the first time I really thought about stuff like physics. Like, one of the few, like, in school, like, I never really learned physics, I wasn't that good at it, but, like, when I saw MatPat's videos on it, like, I still remember to this day what plasma is, like, what all this stuff is. Like, there's all this stuff that I remember from MatPat because of MatPat's it. That, like, Yeah, and also like right now I watch a lot of like educational, lots of like stuff like that. Like I'm not going to get onto specifics, but still like there's a lot of educational stuff I watch right now. That's probably what I watch most. And honestly, I'd say a big influence for that is MatPat, because MatPat was the first person that made me think in a way. Like school like rots your brain in a way. School makes you like not want to learn, where MatPat like gave like that tool to want to think, and then like showed, oh, there are a lot of other people who are going there. And I'd say that's also a sign that like MatPat is offering questions, making people think. And like since he's one of the first people to make you think, he is in a sense like becoming one part of, probably one of the biggest parts of this like field, and is why I'd say he's a philosopher in my. Sorry, it's a rambly mess, but still. And also the second definition like says like love of wisdom, and that's what MatPat's thing is. I think like MatPat's old saying used to like bring it up, the smartest show in gaming. Like MatPat's channel oozes with this love for learning, love for physics, love for everything. Hell, sure, shit, maybe not like going over like quantum space mechanics or something, but still like there's still all this stuff. Like it's always like when like MatPat used to make videos on stuff like Mario's height. Like it was one of the first times I genuinely found like it interesting to see stuff on that particular stuff. That, hey, sorry, I know like accident. I thought like I stopped recording the last time, so I off the thing, and then it turned out I was recording. So awkward. Anyway, MatPat's like videos ooze with like this love of knowledge and all this stuff. Like you can tell MatPat's like videos like have like when he talked about like height and Mario's height, like that shit really did shock me. That shit really did like surprise me. That shit really did like it, like because he talked about it in a way that actually loves it, shows he loves it. Like in school they kind of just go like, whatever today we're gonna teach you about quadratic equations. But MatPat, like when he talks about it, like there's this energy, this love you can feel for the stuff he's talking about. He doesn't just say this stuff just because he wants to. He's talking about it because there's an actual love, an actual passion, actual willingness to talk about it. MatPat is one of those teachers who, if you had him in school, he'd be one of those great teachers, one of the few teachers you remember. So in a way, it's really cool that instead of becoming a teacher for one school, he became a teacher for a billion schools, and gave us this love of learning and gave it to us all. In a way, MatPat's not just making a philosopher. He's not just a philosopher. He's making a philosopher out of us as well too. And also, the next one is, how do you know someone is philosophical? To stay detached and thoughtful in a state of feedback, and to approach a tough subject in a level-headed way. Actually, I'd say MatPat also achieves this as well, because MatPat, like one of the things I really remember, like not just about MatPat, but MatPat was one of the few creators I'd say who tackled something really heavy, like him getting like harassed quite a bit for like his Undertale gastro videos, and like was one of the few like YouTuber, not apologies, but YouTuber responses that I think, well, that showed like that while being genuinely frustrated, also showed like sense of compassion. Like a lot of YouTubers, when they talk about stuff, they kind of seem like a bit annoying, a bit like douchey, a bit like assholey, a bit cunty sometimes. But MatPat's not like that. Like when his response was there, like sure, she's like he was annoyed, but he never sounds like he never really makes his audience feel like shit. And like when he talks about like his serious subject, or when he talks about something like that, there's always this level-headedness. There's always like this like feeling that he has the bigger picture, that he's not just like here to shit or roast on someone. Like when like someone made like an expose on him, like trying to like prove his ass wrong, like with that food video on lettuce, I think. Like he basically just showed how wrong they were, not by like shouting or screaming or like becoming like an ape or something. He just level-headedly just said something, and I think honestly that video like was something like really useful. Like it's honestly really cool that we have like someone like that on the internet, because on the internet, like it's a lot of people don't think about this. When we watch a YouTube video, we think, oh, this is this entire person's being, this is who they were the day they were born, and this is who they were the day they'll die. But MatPat kind of shows but YouTube is kind of in a way like just a person aging, like person growing, we see like the person's growth. Like a lot of YouTubers don't start off like as 25-year-olds or even 30-year-olds or anything like that. We don't start like, we're usually people who start in like late teens, or hell, now that like YouTube and like TikTok and all this stuff is becoming mainstream, like it's quite a lot like younger now. I'd say the demographic of like people starting on YouTube is getting quite young. But still like when people are that, like we're just growing and like learning and growing and growing and growing. The YouTube videos don't really show like that definite growth as much. Like there are some people like Jacksepticeye where you can definitely see the growth, but like most people, like you don't see it, but it's still there. It's still always there. And like a lot of us, since we're like young as shit, really, or people who are put in a fortunate position where we don't have to grow up as much as someone else. Usually, like, our responses to drama, criticism, to all that shit is pretty damn right stupid, and it's probably why the, commentary community, the reactionary community where, like, people react to, like, to drama and all this shit, like, that's probably why it's so rich, is because, like, we're not, like, at a field age where we're, like, ready to deal with this shit, yet we're experiencing a lot of it. I'd say a lot of, like, people on YouTube, like, most of them don't really understand how to deal with it. Not everyone is built for the field of it, but a lot of people try it, and I'd say since we have people like MatPat who actively, like, not only know how to, like, handle criticism, but, like, learn how to do it well, and showing us how, like, to respond, like, in a way it's good, because, like, people will keep doing all this stuff, people will keep doing a lot of stupid stuff, and the fact we have someone here who can help us, like, show us how to do it well is great, because like people need like someone to show them how to do it, especially since like a lot of people are getting in this stupid field. This is probably the worst video you've ever seen, isn't it? I'm sure like you won't. I'm pretty sure most people quit after the 2-minute mark. Anyway, that was stupid. I hope you liked it, and Godspeed. I hope whatever you do next is cool and all. See ya. And see you guys. I did see it in MatPat, like he's actually going to watch this video, he's not. Oh yeah, I also brought up one other thing, like MatPat brings a lot of interesting conversational topics to the table, like in FNAF, like AI now. Like I'm sure a lot of people, when they ask us in like the future, what brought you to want to do is study AI, what brought you to want to study physics, they'll say, oh, I watched this really cool video by this one guy called like MatPat. Like he made this really cool video and it made me want to think about this kind of stuff, and now I've become an expert in the field. Like MatPat talks a lot about how FNAF like brought out like that side like a lot of game people. I'd say MatPat is going to bring out a lot more philosophers and psychologists and a lot more like scientific people as well. So yeah, that's cool. Anyway, let's see y'all.